Hello, what is up, fam? Yes, it's Friday. Okay, well, actually, at the time that this is being recorded, this is actually being pre-recorded a couple days prior. But I am hoping that you guys are all having a wonderful Friday. Made it through another week, y'all. Yes. And just before we dive into speaking with my wonderful guest today, of course, we do need to take care of some items here at the top of the broadcast. So, we are talking sponsors, guys. First up, my longtime sponsor of the channel since its inception, 88 Riddles. Shout out to Jay over at 88 Riddles. He has an amazing Etsy store. And if you go to etsy.com/shop/88riddles, use code GAMER and you get a 10% off discount. And there is merch galore. You know what I'm talking about, y'all. We got t-shirts. We got those dice boxes. Y'all know those dice boxes. Oh, yes. So go on ahead and get yourself a 10% off discount when you visit 88 Riddles shop. And second sponsor, 1985 Games. Oh my gosh. Okay, y'all have been hearing me talk about these modular map pieces that they have. All you have to do is just cut them out. They are now modular pieces and you can mix and match, and you could pick just about any set. It will enhance your game. Yes. So if you go to 1985games.com/w/share, that will help me pay the bills around here, help me keep the lights on, you know what I'm saying? But just know that I endorse the products that just work. I love it. I love it. I love it. Plus, they got dice now. They've had their deck of stories, which I personally have used as story prompts for whenever you want to have, a better hands-on improv during your game. Go check them out. And I've got merch too. Oh, snap. Okay, let me let y'all see. There's Ditz the Dice Goblin. Hey. So, the new merch that I've got available is a wide range of t-shirts that even go into kids' sizes. And there's also a tote bag with this little guy on it as well. Also, I've got a new unicorn t-shirt as well, all available right now. So if you go to shop.cautionarygames.com, you can use code GAMER there too, and you get 10% off at the store as well. So enjoy. Now, y'all, okay, so I'm very excited to have my new guest today. I have my good friend Lonzo, and Lonzo is proudly Latine, a part-time variety streamer and professional TTRPG player. He is an MVP of the TTRPG space, as he is also a full-time husband, full-time father of two, full-time IT professional, as well as a proud member of Team Breadbox and team lead over at Café Cultivar, a Latinx and Hispanic Twitch community focused on cultivating a space for community, change, and charity. You can find him playing a variety of games on his own Twitch channel and see his compelling characters in several campaigns over on Rolling D20s, an all BIPOC group of tabletop players. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce Lonzo. Hey.
That was a great intro. I don't even have to plug anything. That's pretty much it. All right, guys, thanks for having me. I'm out.
You know I gotta get that intro going for you.
That was
man.
a good intro. That was
How
a good
you
intro.
doing? How you
I'm
been,
doing good.
friend?
I'm doing pretty good. A little tired, a little wired, but I'm good. A little
Oh,
good.
I can only imagine. I mean, it's been a week. It's
Yeah,
definitely been a week.
yeah. I mean, we're recording on a Wednesday, but like then it's gonna be Friday, so it's gonna be even more of a week. Like it's timey wimey. Timey wimey.
Oh yes, but we are the time lords of the fantasy space, are we
See,
not?
but if we were like, see, that would be a good campaign. Have like a Doctor Who setting, and you just jump around like different spots,
Man, I'm about 10 steps ahead of you.
right? Like you
Oh
could
my
have different
god.
companions, different TARDISes.
Heck yeah, it's instantly replayable because it's almost like, situation of the week
Exactly.
sort of
Yeah, like
thing.
yeah.
So,
And if a doctor dies, or like let's say that if you're doing like situation of the week, you fail and you level up, well then you could just regenerate to a different doctor.
there we go. You see, hey, we
Look at that.
listen,
Are we homebrewing
we
this?
we gotta talk. We gotta talk
Coming
on the
to a stream
stream.
near you,
We
folks.
Yeah,
Coming to a
the
stream near
thing.
you.
Hey, we about that homebrew, okay?
Let's go.
Heck yeah. So I mean, man, listen, I've seen you doing your thing, playing these characters over on Rolling These 20s. And I gotta say, like, I love watching your characters just, it's like, most of the time I see that your characters have a tendency to be like, okay, just straight up, like,
Chuckleheads? You can say chuckleheads.
straight chucklehead, shenanigans happening, and I
Mhm.
love every minute of it.
Yeah, we have. Do we have a plan? No, no, we don't. We don't really have a plan. We just go with like we just go with whatever and see how it turns out.
Well, after seeing the majority of the gameplay that I've seen you in, being in Vampire the Masquerade, um, what, like, how long have you actually been involved with tabletop gaming to begin with? And clearly Vampire is one of your favorite systems. Do you have any others?
Um, I started in 2017, so I'm still a baby. I'm still a baby when it comes to it. I started with a group of IRL friends that was like, "Hey, look, we're going to play D&D. Do you want to play it?" And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, it's an excuse just to like hang out with my buddy and like and all his other friends. And I kind of sort of fell in love with it. I was a half elf cleric, Tempest domain.
Wow. Okay.
And like I never played before, and like I didn't understand spell casting, I didn't understand stuff, and I actually had to take a break because my firstborn was like just born like shortly, maybe like 6-7 months after like we started playing. So it was a
Wow.
huge break, and I didn't actually get back into tabletop till as everyone else pretty much till the pandemic.
Right.
Like that's when I got back into it. Like I decided to stream on Twitch. I was following people who did tabletop, and I was like, oh, dope! Like you could do this stuff, and like this looks a lot of fun. Yeah, I'll get into this. And I had a half orc paladin, Oath of Vengeance, that I
Ooh, okay.
really like. Like back then, my whole thing was let me make characters that don't necessarily go with like the traditional route. Let me make some non-conventional stuff. Like I had like Savage Attack on there. I just like some of the stuff that like half orc offered when it came to melee attacks.
Sure.
Um, I thought that was really cool. And then from there, I saw Dimples streaming. He's like, oh, we do Philly by Night, Vampire Masquerade. And then I'd be hearing things because like I'm from the area, the Philly area, and I'd be hearing things like, oh, I know exactly where they are. And that's what kind of drew me into the story. And I kept
Got
on like
you.
watching it, like being there week after week and stuff like that. and I guess Dimples and the other folks must have caught wind of like the tabletop stuff I did, because after their first season, they reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, look, do you want to play in Vampire?" And I'm like, "I never played, but yeah, sure. Like, I'll go it." And then we did a one shot as the Camarilla,
Wow.
and
Okay.
first time being jumped into it, not knowing like how to create a character, really like looking up YouTube videos. I saw one with like that bronze girl and
Yes.
Jason Charles
Yes.
Miller, and
Mhm.
I'm like, this doesn't explain it. Like, there's no real like decent explanation of how to do it. So like, I got some help. We like kind of fudged along the character, and I was mostly quiet because like the one shot was the actions of this one shot are going to dictate what happens in season 2. I'm like,
Got you.
well, I'm coming on now. Like, I'm not really going to say anything because y'all lived it, y'all played it. Like, I'm just like a baby coming into it. Like, I don't want to have my say
Right?
affect
It's
what
like,
happens because
oh, I don't want to mess up nothing.
exactly. Liz messaged me. It was like, "Are you okay? Like, is everything all right?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm just taking everything in because like I was afraid to step on people's toes." But then I created my character, Oscar de Ponce, a Ravnos hacker kindred, who is kind of more closer to me and my real world experiences almost of the way. And I think that was like the first character that actually I like honored like my Latinx culture, my upbringing, like my ancestry. Like, I named them after my uncle who passed away from cancer, so kind of like an
Really?
homage to my uncle.
Wow.
So it's cool that I get to do that, and I get to play like this badass vampire who can see ley lines, open up portals to other like timelines and dimensions, and there's multiple different versions of him, and who's like a hacker who can see electricity, who's just like almost level-headed and can kind of get himself into some trouble, but knows that the other members of the code could like
little
get
bit,
him out.
sure.
Yeah, I could get myself into some trouble, but that's how I got into Vampire. Like, that was, I never thought I would be playing Vampire ever in my life, because I thought tabletop was like the epitome of geek. Even though I was like a comic book fan, I carried like collectible cards. I went to like comic book conventions. I mean, I love like superhero movies and all that stuff. Video games.
Oh, I see you wearing the Spider-Man shirt, man. I see you doing your thing. I
love Magic the Gathering, like, but I always felt like tabletop was always like, nah, there's no coming back from that. And like, if I could go back and talk to like my younger self, I'd be like, yeah, but the thing is, you don't want to come back from that though. Like, you don't want to come back from that. Like, you want to stay in it. But then like, my favorite system is actually Monster of the Week. And the reason why, it really is, because it's simple. Character creation is a blast. The stories are pretty well contained and perfect for one shots. So I really like doing those for like charity events. And I love like those type of shows that are kind of based off of, that are kind of like an homage to like Fringe or Alcatraz or Almost Human. Like, I love those type of TV shows, and it's so easy to get like immersed into that world. Like, when I played those games, yeah, I'm the player, but I'm also actually, when everything else is happening, the scenes that I'm not in, I kind of almost envision myself sitting on my couch watching the role play happening on my TV.
That's how you know that it's really, really good. When you start, and then all of a sudden, the DM turns to you and says, "Okay, Cher, you're up next." Oh, shit!
I was so involved.
Where my dice? Where my dice at? What? I
Yeah.
forgot I'm supposed to be playing.
Well, like, what am I gonna, like? Oh, you're just like picking up stuff. Like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Where am I again? Because you're there just eating popcorn the whole time. Like, this is so good. Everyone's doing such a great job.
Oh my
Everyone's like bringing their A
gosh.
game.
Yup, heck yeah. When you get that good table of people around you, man,
Yeah,
it's magic.
it
Well, what
really
I'm gonna
is.
do, I'm gonna bring us over so that get a look at some of your websites as we discuss. And one of the things that I also wanted to ask you, like, especially with the wonderful cast, of people of color who are over in, Philly by Night, for example. Like, I know you and I touched upon this before about acknowledging the importance of having POC folks in tabletop, in the tabletop arena. That's one thing, but becoming an independent creator in the TTRPG space is quite another. I've got to know, like, when did it when did it occur to you, right, to become an actual content creator on your own, besides being invited into your first game that somebody else was running? Like, what was your inspiration to start your own channel, for example?
Well, this is gonna be like completely like ignorant story, but it was the start of pandemic. Like, I lost my job. That was at for 5 years. Juneteenth of 2019. Like
Oh.
Juneteenth, I lost my job, and I was like, well, I get unemployment, and I have a kid, so I get to watch my kid, watch them grow up a bit, and I'll find a job. And they were young then, so like when I would put them to nap, I would just be playing video games. And then like I knew Twitch existed. I streamed a bit on Twitch beforehand, but never like on like some sort of serious note. So that's what I was like, if I'm gonna be playing video games, like I might as well just be streaming on Twitch. Maybe I'll have someone jump in and say something. Maybe I won't. Whatever, what have you. But like I'm playing games for me. So I did that, and it wasn't until I was playing when Among Us came out, and like everyone was like, "Oh,
Oh
you want to play Among Us?
yeah.
Let's play Among Us." Like, hey, we got TTRPG community playing Among Us. We got a Magic the Gathering community playing Among Us. We have role players playing Among Us. So I was fortunate enough to like be included in like a TTRPG Among Us game that was streamed, and like someone came to my chat and was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And we started talking. We vibed a little bit, and then we got to know each other, like and that person became one of my biggest fans, one of my best friends, and one of the first people I would go to when it came to like tabletop stuff, and that was D&D Jordan Lee.
Wow.
Um,
Yes, Jordan is such good peoples. Oh my
and
gosh.
Jordan was the
Yes.
first one that introduced me to like the tabletop role playing thing, like on a stream platform. I greatly appreciate like every opportunity that came my way, everything that they've ever done. Like I'm a huge fan of everything that Jordan does. But from there, like it was like, oh, again, like I could play these characters on stream and stuff like that. And I remember like being nervous. My first stream game, I reached out to my first DM and I was like, hey, look, you're like, this is what I'm playing. Like, does this sound all right? Like, hey, can you just watch and like give me some tips and like what I could like how I'm doing? Like, should I be doing anything different? Because I was nervous. I didn't know what to do. I had like no experience, and they came back saying, hey, you did great. Like everything's all right on your end. Like you're doing really good. So I'm like, okay, I guess I could do this then. And then from there it was just, hey, look, you want to take part in this charity game, you want to take part in this one shot, you want to do this stuff. And like so much so I got to be invited this couple months ago to Big Bad Con. They had an online convention where myself, Wreck-It Raven, That D'Angelo, Princess Calamity, and Fairbear, like
Yes,
it was all
Princess. Yes.
we had a panel. Like We the POC in TTRPG, where we talked about being, BIPOC, BIPOC within the TTRPG space, and like things that we had to do to come up. But I made the decision a couple months ago that every character I'm going to play and create going forward from that point was going to have a Latina background.
Nice.
There's going to be a Latina character, because you don't see too many of like us, BIPOC people in the TTRPG space. You look at tabletop or D&D, and we don't see us really.
Correct.
We don't. It's not us. Like if you look at the top ones, like we're not necessarily there. There's some places who are doing it, but we're not necessarily that reoccurring character or one of the main characters. Like we're coming in as a guest, or like we're somewhat part of the ensemble.
Yeah, there is the ongoing struggle to deviate from and evolve up out of tokenism, which still exists. And that's for those, many of our fellow diverse folks, still happening with Black people, still happening with Asian people, still happening with Indian people, still happening with Native American people. Let's not even go there. Woo, that's
it's ridiculous. It's wild.
That's an entire show. But yeah, I agree, and I am pleased to see within this grand renaissance that we're going through. I am pleased to see efforts being made by major franchises. Certainly, I can point out right now the recent one-shot that Critical Role did, with the new book that came out from Dungeons and Dragons, and I was just flat out just so amazed with the entire cast that came to the table, the approach, the richness of description, the characters, just everything came together with that whole table that I was very, like the set dressing, like,
the set dressing was gorgeous.
Oh my god.
Absolutely gorgeous. It looked great.
Well done. Quite well done.
Dee and Jazzy Hands did a fantastic job running that game. Fantastic job running that game.
I love Moenyo. Oh my gosh, he's so much fun. I love him to death.
It was beautiful. And that's taking your time and paying your dues and honoring the culture and respecting the culture. Actual like representation of that culture. And I think that's what's needed. Like not just Black History Month, not just, Women's History Month, not just Pride Month, not just
Spanish Heritage Month either.
Not Hispanic Heritage Month. Like, there's 12 months out of the year.
Thank you.
Fit us in those 52 weeks.
That leads me right into what you had mentioned to me as well. We had mentioned that you are part of Team Breadbox and Café Cultivar. Can you tell us how you got involved with both of those?
Team Breadbox is a Twitch team that is inclusive, is diverse, and does great things within like their community. Like they're always helping each other out. If someone has a question about streaming problems or tech issues or just how to go about doing certain things, there's always someone there that has an answer, and that's really great. I think for new streamers like myself, when I first joined, like that was a great resource because it opened my eyes to so many different avenues I didn't know were available, so many opportunities I didn't know existed, and I'm grateful for like that team that bond those individuals, because it's something that no one really tells you when you first start out. No one says like, hey, like this is a path you could take.
Right.
But they had all the information there, and all the resources there, all the answers there, and that's something that I'm so grateful to be a part of. As far as Café Cultivar, that was founded by um, Ashlina. That was beforehand. I think it was Somos Familia wanted to do a charity drive for Latinx in gaming last year. So I was myself and a few other like Latinx folks, jumped on board. I think unfortunately around that time, like I felt a little ill, so I couldn't stream then. But it was always like, hey, do you need help with something? Is there something that we could do? Um, and like I felt like a closeness to that community. But it wasn't till TTRPG's Robo Goblin did like an all Latina stream event of tabletop games during last year's Hispanic Heritage Month, where like a real fire burnt within me, and wanted to like be super passionate about like my culture, my people, and the representation. And then Ashlina decided to rebrand that little group into Café Cultivar, and I loved it. Like I wanted to take part in more of a bigger role within it, but didn't have the availability at the time. But when I did, like I was able to come back on there, able to go into that leadership role, which I'm so thankful for, and seeing like everything that Ashlina and the other team leads are doing for us, Afro Latinx, Afro Latina, Latinx, Latina people is just nothing but amazing. And like big props to Ashlina for like constantly like looking for opportunities for us. Like we even have like our own Discord, and within the Discord there's an opportunities channel. So anything that comes up that's looking for like voice actors, artists, tabletop players, streamers, anything that's like a funded event or a scholarship or like some sort of grant, it's posted in there so that way everyone in the community can know. Everyone knows, and everyone can be like, hey, look, here's something that would be really dope for us. Go get it.
That's amazing.
Go get it.
I
So it's
absolutely love that. And actually, I'm in the process of filling in my own application to apply too. The way the story goes in my family, my grandfather on my mother's side was straight off the boat Cuban.
mhm,
And I was never raised in a Latin environment. Although I mean I was in New York City, so like I feel like I was the little negrita cousin of like like so many different Latin neighborhoods
yeah,
growing up, especially Puerto Riqueño, Dominicana, so I always felt like Spanish heritage was all around me, but that it was just out of reach,
you're on the
because
like
mhm
outside of the window looking into the shop.
mhm exactly. And as many of us that grew up with single parents, like my mom had a choice. She didn't grow up in a Spanish household, so what could she have passed down to me?
Mhm,
So she left it to me really to make my own decisions about what I wanted to learn about. And I had always had one Spanish friend or one Latin friend around me or another who let me know about certain types of foods that they made at their house, tried to teach me, rudimentary Spanish at one point or another. And that was as far as it went back
yeah,
then. But, even now, I have like the Duolingo app on my phone now. I'm like, now that it's just so accessible to educate yourself about your culture, somebody else's
mhm,
culture, all different types of cultures. Really, just it's up to me to make that commitment to learn more. So I am in as many ways as I can, as many spoons as I have,
yeah,
and as many resources as I can. But that that welcoming environment, as I've been, researching Café Cultivar and looking at their socials and everything. Like, it seems like the place to be. I love it. I love that
It's
idea.
what's amazing about it is it's not just a certain group of Latin individuals. Like I said, you have artists, you have musicians, you have VTubers, you have crafters, painters, tabletop players, people who stream. You might have like an author within there. There's so many people within that with so many various backgrounds or experiences that it's it's great because I'm first generation um Hispanic American, but my mom's Dominican and my dad is Guatemalan, and he could trace his roots back to the Mayans from his mother's side. So like that's something that's dope. That's amazing. That like I want to tap into when I do tabletop games. Like if the game is like somewhat appropriate for it, I'll tap into that. Like I'll go into that route.
I
But
love it. And that brings me to one of the other things that I think briefly, in doing my research for today's convo, I had seen where you had come up with Somos Familia, I think.
mhm,
And can you tell us a little bit about what that project is?
that was that was born off of the dovetails of Robo Goblin's Oops All Latina event, where like I got that fire in me, where Robo said, "Look, there's Hispanic Heritage Month came and went, and within that time, like we saw none of people who look like us come up with any opportunities. If we did, there were like two people in the background somewhere. There were no like sponsors that really came out. No one really wanted to do anything, or maybe didn't know that Hispanic Heritage Month was coming. So, like, I want to make noise." And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make noise too. So I formed this group. Um, it was mostly like tabletop players that and their content creators as well. But within that, like I had the idea, the passion of doing like a roundtable discussion. And I think we formed maybe around like November, December, and by January, like there was a big Latina like holiday, like Three Kings Day. And I remember when I was young, I celebrated it in the way that we got presents. I didn't know anything about it, so I had to like do research myself on it. Um, so we did a 2-day event where we had like a Spanish roundtable talking about creciendo Latina or growing up Latina, and the second day was growing up Latina, like an English panel. And the people who took part of that, the people who helped out with that, the people who helped organize it, and um, help come up with certain ideas and talking discussions, also had um, the availability of getting us on front page on the Spanish Twitter portion.
Nice.
So that was just overwhelming. That was just something I never expected like to happen before. And I remember like, the one thing like people tell you if you're on front page, like never talk about numbers, never talk about numbers. So we're like in our mod chat, we're talking like what's going on, like, was fortunate enough to have so many like amazing people who spoke Spanish, some who didn't, just come and like mod for the 2 days, and was like, hey, do you want to know the numbers? Like, yeah, sure. It's like, you got over a couple thousand people like watching, and it was amazing. Like, I never would have thought of it. And I grabbed a screenshot of like the after stream summary and the breakdown of countries that were viewing, and to see like all of like these Latin American countries, these South American countries, these countries from like the Caribbean, the islands, just to see all that there was like, I burst into tears because I was like, that was overwhelming to see like all these people come out just to watch the Spanish portion, and to come back the next day to watch an English speaking one. And we raised money for Raices, which was a Texas nonprofit pro bono legal fund for immigrants, displaced immigrant children, people who are seeking asylum. So I think we raised over like $15,000 over those 2 days.
Wow. Whoa, that's
But
amazing.
that was that, and then
So good. Oh my
it's just
God.
people there who are like, hey, we want to do this, and from someone within that community put my name out there for the Big Bad Con. So I'm like, this is just, it's a great group of people there. Like, I'm fortunate for that group as well. And I was actually talking about with Café Cultivar and the people in Somos Familia that, like, we want to plan this whole Hispanic Heritage Month, like TTRPG, like events. So there's going to be like games, maybe have some different types of systems running, not just like D&D, and maybe talk about, you know, some other things as well. But from what Robo says, like, we're not going to be quiet, like, we're going to make noise. Like, I want to like make sure that people see us. That really like just lit some sort of fire within me. And you know, I don't think if it weren't for that event, like, Somos Familia wouldn't have been created. I don't think I would have been as passionate, as into Café Cultivar. Like, I love the message behind it, but I don't think I would have been like almost like like having it course through your veins, almost like so passionate about it.
All
And
it
it's
takes is that one bit of inspiration, right? Am I right?
it's pretty much like a tabletop, like your first tabletop game. Like, you never know how much it's going to mean to you till you're done playing that game. You're like, you know what? I want more.
Yep.
Give me more. I need more now, and I need to tell everyone else about this. And I feel like that's the same exact way. Like, there's more of us out there where we are here, and people need to see us in front of it. So I think what we want to do is we want like an all front to back of the camera, all Latina thing, like players, game masters, storytellers, dungeon masters, producers, artists, musicians, like front to back, just an all Latina thing, like how it should be.
Yep.
An all BIPOC produced event. And I think that's why I'm like so lucky and fortunate of being with like Rolling These 20s, because that was like my first consistent table. I know nothing else but that, pretty much. To me, that's my norm. That's my norm.
Okay.
And I'm so lucky to have like that family there to say like, hey, this is your first house. This is what normal is. And everything else is kind of like, that's a little too.
Yeah.
That's a little too Wonder Bread right there.
We could
That's
do
a little
more.
too Wonder Bread right there.
We could do better. We can do better. And
Put a
you
little
know,
bit-
I don't know. I'm not sure if you believe like I do, but I believe in speaking things into existence.
Yes.
So what are some of the things that you aspire to accomplish then as an ongoing you know, as ongoing accomplishments for yourself, your channel, as a content creator, as a streamer, as a gamer, any and all of those?
Wow, you say speaking to existence is something I'm kind of working on. Like, not even speaking, just like putting more parts in motion. But I do want to try and run. It may not necessarily be on my channel, because like at the end of the day, I'm not the type of person where like I want things to be about me. Like, I'd rather give like a smaller BIPOC content creator like the spotlight, like believe in that person and then uplift them and be like, look, everyone else, you have to check out this person. Y'all gotta check this person out. Don't be sleeping on this person. Make sure you put this person's name in your mouth at all times.
I'm so glad you said something, Lonzo, because like all up in Discord, usually you're one of those that are leading the charge between you and Duval. Shout out to Duval King Jacob. Between both of y'all, Duval. Between the two of you, it's like y'all are the ones that are running with the banner at like the front of the charge, like always. Yeah. It's just such an energy that I just love.
It's because
that's the way it should be.
Exactly.
Like everybody helping to elevate everybody else. There's such a wide playing field. This is such a creatively rich environment. Tabletop and RPGs, because this is why, and I get why they told you don't look at the numbers, because honestly, the focusing on the quality of the content is really the most important thing. Just because 10 million people may have been at work at the time that you guys may have been live, and they weren't at home watching the live. However, maybe they followed up on the VOD. Maybe they heard about how good it was from other people by word of mouth. I mean, numbers don't, especially during live, it's deceptive buying into numbers. When it comes to live. I mean, we're living in the age of binge watching. Yeah. Binge watching wasn't even a phrase all growing up for me. No. I don't know about you, but like binge watching wasn't a phrase until like maybe a decade ago.
You caught the show. You had TGIF and you missed Family Matters that week. Sorry.
That you heard about it because everybody else was talking about it the next day, right?
Yeah. So. You missed Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Sorry. you gotta buy the VHS.
Hopefully your mom's had DVR or something.
Yeah, had a VCR going to record it.
Right.
But no, it's you can catch up on so many things, and like that's the good thing about like now, is that, like you said, you have the availability to like find something at the drop of a hat and get to it. Someone mentions one thing, is like, oh yeah, I'm on this actual play, I'm on this podcast, I'm on this stream here, we're on YouTube over here. You could go ahead and check it out. You can have your favorite shows, but there's so many other smaller actual plays happening that there's so many amazing people on here. Like the TTRPG space is filled with so many people, so many amazing people, that you could just grab one thing from that and be like, oh, I just need that little bit in this character to bring that character up to here from here.
Heck yeah. And you know what? Speaking it into existence, I look forward to all of the productions that you have your hands in, and certainly looking to catch up with more episodes over at Philly by Night, because like I said, y'all, oh my gosh, y'all just have some ridiculous shenanigans going on every time, and I love it. I love it. So what we're gonna do for right now, looking at the time, we're about halfway through the broadcast, so we're going to take a 5-minute break, but when we come back, we're going to talk more with Lonzo about how family life intersects with his gaming life. So we'll be back in a bit, guys.
I'm bored.
We can go scream at the cat for another hour.
Nah, I'm tired of screaming at the cat.
Shut up with that! Be bored no more with 1985 games. Enjoy their vast variety of products and help bring your tabletop to a whole new level. With easy-to-use dungeon sticky notes, The deck of stories holds prompts and adventure hooks for any setting, and thousands of cutout game pieces with their dungeon craft.
You've come all this way for nothing, fool! The princess is mine!
You'll never get away with this, Malachor!
Write everything down in your Hero Notes journal and start your adventure today! Visit the World Wide Web address 1985games.com and find many helpful products such as their Dungeon Craft series, battle maps, deck of stories, miniatures, dungeon notes, and now VHS dice. Again, that's 1985games.com.
right, fam, and we are back. We are back. We are back with my good friend Lonzo, and we are talking about being POC TTRPG players. We're talking about incorporating culture into the tabletop space, and I definitely I gotta ask you, man. You know, as a person of color in the industry, right? And the fact that you're also a dad, like, do you share your gaming enthusiasm with your kids? Do they share your enthusiasm for gaming?
Um, my youngest, Tiny, is just turned 15 months yesterday, so
Oh,
they're a
happy
little too young
birthday!
for it. But my oldest one is a little over 3.5 months, 3.5 years old, 3.5 months, Jesus, 3.5 years old,
The time
and
does fly by,
just
doesn't
bye bye. Oh my
it?
god. And
Oh,
there was a little time in there, maybe when they were around like 2.5, 3, that they really loved my dice. Like for Christmas, like we got them a collapsible dice tray. I got them dice online. It was also an excuse for me to get some dice too.
well.
Uh, so that was nice. But I did a little like game for them. Like they love garbage trucks. So, like at trash day here, I hate it because it meant I had to get up even earlier. But they loved it because they got to see the trash trucks go by. So I did a little like game where we rolled like a d20 and like a d6 to see how well we did, and if we succeeded, the trash truck will go further to the stop, or pick up the trash, or will be able to go out of where they pick the trash up to the next stop. And if they fail, they would have to like repeat the process again. And they loved it. Like we played it for like a week or so. And the good thing about like being a parent and being a TTRPG player too is I mentioned it online, and then someone DM'd me, is like, how do you play it? Like my kid's in the like garbage trucks too. Like, what do you do? And I let them know, and like they came back to me like a couple days later. I was like, they loved it. It was awesome. Like they were so into it. Like we did this to make it a little bit better. I'm like, that's perfect. That's awesome. Like, and I was like teary-eyed. I was all misty-eyed because I'm like, it's amazing. Like something that like would bring so much passion and joy to a little kid, but like you give a little spin on it. Just to know that like that other little kid was happy too. Like that father was also like having that bonding time with their kid that I was having too with mine. Like if we, for a moment, it felt like we shared that experience at like the same exact time, however miles apart we were. So like that was like a really cool moment.
I love that so much. Look at you.
It
You're
was
an
adorable.
inspiration to someone. That's like the best right there, man.
It was it was adorable.
You can't replace that feeling.
No.
That's amazing.
No. But now my kid just wants to play with my dice tray and like put all the dice in there and bring their dice in. I'm like, no, because I don't know which ones are yours when like it's all mixed in with mine. So you play in your dice tray, you go play in my dice tray. Don't mix them up, and then
there's a system. Like you get into a system, especially before a game, right? You've got
5 days later, I found their dice, and I'm like, this isn't my dice. It's like put back on their table.
Oh my gosh!
But I think, I want to get them into it because not only is it a good thing for like just creating story and stuff like that, but it's also teaching them like critical thinking, problem solving, math. And just like cooperation as well. So like it's a system that's multi-pronged as far as like teaching tools, and that's something that I enjoy. And I feel like it's the same way with like Magic the Gathering. Like I want to get my kid into that too because it teaches them reading, teaches them math, teaches them like thought processes, and like a little bit more like game theory and just critical thinking, and just trying to analyze and think ahead on certain things. And hopefully like, those skills they can apply like in their life to like whatever it may be.
It's the new chess, really, if you think about it.
It really is
the strategy portion of it. reinforces that critical thinking, and to
Mm-hmm.
have them exposed to that as early as possible. Heck yeah. I
And I'm
totally see
horrible at
that.
chess, so like I can teach them this because I know how to do this.
Oh, what an admission. Oh no.
Oh yeah, I am not good at chess. The computer kicks my ass 10 out of 10 times.
Oh my gosh, same, so much same. Like, there's so much more I find that evolves from, okay, just what are the archetypes that kind of pigeonhole would otherwise pigeonhole your character into a set amount of moves across the board. But now there's an entire, wealth of opportunity to be able to describe how to attack a problem.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, as you get older, as you go into the workforce, as you go into college, you are called upon those critical thinking skills and being able to provide solutions to complete projects, to complete assignments from your professors and your employers. I mean, it's all relative. It's definitely all relative.
If you think about it, we were all some sort of dungeon master, game master, storyteller when we were younger. We were all running games as kids. I think what it is like we get the notion that, is it good enough?
Mm-hmm.
Are other people going to like it? But I think we have to fall, like, as hard as it is to ignore that and just be like, am I, as the person running the game, enjoying this setting? Because if I'm enjoying it, that's going to give a good indication that someone out there is going to enjoy it too. There's going to be at least one person that's going to enjoy that game that I'm telling here. We all had that capability as a kid, and we didn't care back then if anyone liked it or not. We just all wanted to tell that story and play that story.
And all the rest of the kids in the group also bought into that level of imagination. That we were all using at that point. I mean, this is why what breaks my heart is when kids are involved in artistic endeavors, and the first thing that they worry about is whether or not they're doing it right. And that drives us just a spike through my soul to hear a kid think like that when you are speaking about something so qualitative, not quantitative. It is based around your own imagination. There is no right or wrong.
No.
There is no right or wrong. And I think tabletop gaming in particular is really a great outlet to help kids practice that, because with everything else, all the other pressures that they're under, especially these days, to perform and to achieve, I feel like that's, when you start taking away, especially with the removal of a lot of artistic endeavors and activities, at school age, I feel like that's a great disservice, because it locks them into this thinking that they're not good enough.
Yeah, and there's no way to foster that. Maybe that's a natural talent they had. So that right there, society sounds like that gift that you have, that's that thing that you could probably bring joy to the world. You know what? No, you don't need to do that, because that's not going to fly when you're older. That's not going to do any good when you're older. And the thing is, without arts, like, we wouldn't have most of the things we enjoy now. Like, if we didn't have, like, imagination, creativity, we wouldn't have this, this equipment to be able to have this discussion right now. Because no one would have thought of, there's going to be a way that I could talk to someone through vast distances, and they're able to not only see me, hear me, but interact with me. And then there's people who will be able to interact with those people while they're telling their story at the same time in real time.
Damn, like, right. Yeah.
You need that imagination create. You have to foster it.
And that's at the end of the day, I that's why I love tabletop games, because that in now as a grown person, it reminds me to do just that.
Mm.
So now here comes the fun part, my favorite part of the episode. We gonna talk dice, y'all. Yes, let's
Ooh.
get down to it. Show me what you got, what you Lonzo.
All right, I want to go a little different,
Okay.
but I'm still gonna go traditional. I'm gonna go a little different. So I have
Okay.
some dice. Like I said, I play Magic the Gathering. I have what they look like D20s.
Okay.
But they're not. These are spin down dice. So it's a 20-sided dice, but you count down like to the life totals you have. So it goes down in like numerical order. So you start from like 20 and then go to 19, 18. So you count down how much life you have.
Oh, got you. Okay, so the order of the numbers on the die are in
Are a
spin down
specific pattern, not a pattern of a traditional D20.
Okay.
I also have, for my Magic the Gathering games, I have dice counters, which are just like a couple D6s. These happen to be
Here, let's see.
red and black.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I have a vampire themed deck that I wanted to do, so I have counters on them to let them know like how many, if they have a different strength than what they normally would, or if I have a certain amount of vampire tokens out, like I don't have to have like 30 different ones. I could say with dice, hey, I have 8 of these, 10s of these out there, or this is like a plus, it's not a 1-1 anymore. It's like a 2-2 or 3-3 or whatever. So it just makes it easier.
Matter of fact, do you have any of your Philly by Night dice at all?
We don't have.
Curious.
Well, with that, we're all.
Is it
we,
all
we,
digital?
We use Roll20.
Or...
Yeah, it's all
okay.
digital. It's all digital. All
That's
digital.
Fine.
But before, like, we played some D&D, and before we got moved to digital, I forgot who shared the link out. I can't remember who, but there was a set of Black Lives Matter dice that I shared out, and most of us got it. I think pretty much all of us got it. So we got.
Oh my gosh, I have yet to get my set. Yes.
This is one of my favorite sets of dice.
Oh my gosh.
The black and yellow full sets that came out with everything.
I've been hearing about these. I've been hearing about these dice. Let me tell you something. Jasper Cartwright. Shout out to Jasper Cartwright from 3 Black Halflings. He was shouting out those dice. Jeremy Cobb, his friend over there as well. They've been shouting out these dice because apparently they have some magical, mystical powers that happen when people of color, apparently are rolling these dice. They roll
sometimes
so
they work great
well.
for me, but sometimes they put me in my place. They let me know, like, pump the brakes.
Chill, calm down.
Pump the brakes. You're going a little too wild right now. Calm it down. I'm like, all right.
Yes, indeed. That's my next set of dice right there. I have to get them.
I still have some of my first set of dice that I got from the first campaign. Like, I didn't buy them. They were given to me, so these are like 2 of them that I got.
Oh,
this one tends to work a little bit more.
The golden snitch, huh? Oh, it's so it's yellow and red.
Red and yellow.
Got
and it's pretty good. Like, it works sometimes.
Wow.
Not a high success rate.
That's the fireball die, and the other one was pink. Hold up the other one again. Let me see that one again.
This was pink with like specks of like white and black, almost like a playground kind of 90s.
Yeah, like
flooring.
the 90s like rubber ball that you would get at the 99-cent store or at the bodega.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
These were probably one of my most expensive dice I got. I got a set of the wormwood. These are like the black obsidian ones. Trying to find where the 20 is at, and I was just standard. So it's kind of hard to see the numbering on it.
Oh
you
my god.
Kind of see a bit there.
But deep jet black. Oh yes.
It's pretty heavy. The downside is because it's not really like stenciled in. It's hard to tell the numbering on it.
Okay.
So that's why I don't use it that often.
Okay, got you. But it's just so pretty.
This one I got off of a popular dice website.
Oh.
This is a nice big. This was like a character dice.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I
for
have the same one. Wait a minute.
Black Dice
wait a
Society.
minute. Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I like this one. I don't really roll with this one, but like
Who
I
do I
just keep it
have?
around because it looks gorgeous.
That's my chonker. Look.
There we go, twinsies. Twinsies.
Hey! And mine is starting to get like a little burnished because I roll with this one like all.
Oh, I don't. I haven't rolled with this one because like
Yours
it's just
is
so
pristine.
heavy. It's so heavy, and like when I play, the kids are sleeping, so I don't want this like conch like
yeah.
echo throughout the whole house.
That's exactly why I call it my chonker because
Wow. It's loud. I got one here that's like a nice little like aqua glitter color.
Oh, look at that! It's almost prismatic. I love
Yeah,
how
it's got a nice
like,
shimmer to it.
yeah, it's like see-through. I love it.
And then from that other Black Dice Society set, the character one, this is like their D10. Like this,
Yeah.
that has like a nice little like.
Love
laying there.
it. Yes. Oh, I
I
have
like
that
the leather,
set.
the numbering on that too.
Heck yeah, that I have that set set aside for my DM dice.
Ooh.
Because I feel like the speckles, the black speckles in there, it has kind of like that infected look. I'm like, yes, I gotta use those.
Yes.
Oh, I gotta
could
use
definitely
those
go
to scare
ahead
my
and like.
players.
Yeah, exactly. I got my Critical Role dice that I got from the Kickstarter backer.
Oh my
that I haven't
gosh.
used yet, but they have a nice, gorgeous, like purple color to it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I think I know the ones that you're talking about. It's probably the ones that they slated for Scanlan's short haul. Oh, I love
yeah,
those.
just about.
Oh my god.
It's got
so
this nice little like.
pretty.
The camera's not doing a good justice to it
Oh my god.
because it's making it more red, but it's like a purple, black, blue, like almost like a grape soda kind of look to it with the syrup in it.
I could easily use those the purple and black on that and associate that with maybe a warlock character or something like,
or for a
even
spelljammer, for a spelljammer game.
Spelljammer, right?
There
Yes.
we go.
Oh my
There we
gosh.
go.
Okay, so here's the big three. I went big chonker this week because I am infamous for letting people know that my eyes are getting older, not younger. And even though I'm wearing contact lenses right now, hello, yes, your girl needs glasses.
I see you.
So,
I see you with these. Without it, I can't see you.
okay, so I went with chonkers this week. I've got this is a big version of purple and black right here that I absolutely love. Purple and black is one of my favorite color combos.
Yeah.
Usually, and purple, obviously. I mean, you know, if you can't tell that your girl loves
Part of the
purple,
brand.
you're not looking close enough. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, that's one of my favorite color combos. And then I have, talk about infected. I got this die. This is a Kraken die here.
Ooh.
And that has an infected look to it. It's got the swirls of reddish white, and then it's got the blood red numbers and whatnot. Like, this is like definitely gonna be set aside as.
I like the white because it's like a clouded kind of thing, so you don't really know how the dice is gonna roll almost. Like there's some sort of like secret within that dice that you kind of don't want to come out. I like that. I like that.
Exactly. And then for my third one that I have, this is a pretty red with white swirl that I have.
Yep.
And I love the fact that it swirls. It's almost like red marble. And I feel like this is a mage die right here. Like whatever next character I have that can cast Fireball, Like I'm definitely
Yeah.
gonna use for this one.
Yeah.
I think. Oh,
I hear
there's
you.
some interesting dice that I've seen here recently with like the liquid core die. Oh my
Ooh.
god! Ooh,
Okay.
when
You'll
it
have to send me
swirls.
that.
I love those. Yeah, we'll talk about it. There's some links, man. Oh my gosh. There are some sponsorships that, like I said, I hope somebody's out there listening from one of these dice
Speak it.
manufacturers.
Speak it.
Yes, speak it into existence.
I hear because I like with everything that came out with like the James Webb Telescope and stuff like that, the spacey galaxy one. Like and now we're seeing like a bunch of galaxy dice coming out. Like,
Let me just say,
look
like, and
nice.
I've always loved celestial things. Like,
Mhm.
sun, moon, and stars has always been a lovely combination in my mind. And anything that takes on like a celestial look like that, that's why, like, I'm telling you, bruh, we got to talk about these like liquid core dyes that I've been seeing.
I need to know because no one's told me this as of yet, and
Yo,
I want to have some questions for some people. It's like
it'll swirl and it's just beautiful. We'll talk. But
all right.
Lonzo, thank you so much for coming through the channel today and
Thanks for
speaking
having
with
me.
us. It's so cool for you to share your experience with us, and I hope you had a blast.
This is great. This is great. Like I could be here for hours. Like I want to be that person that like you gotta kick me out of your house.
Oh my
And I'm
god.
just gonna be eating your food. Like that's gonna be me.
Oh my dude. Well, we'll definitely catch up with each other on Discord. That I know for sure.
Sure.
And now we come to the part of the program where we sign off on this channel in a specific way. So get ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go. All right. So love, peace, and soul.
And soul.
This is how
This is
we roll.
how we roll.
Yes! All right. All right now. And with that, to all of my listeners and my watchers, thank you so much for coming through the channel and checking out this video. And if you've ever thought of DMing a game and you've been unsure about whether or not to do it, do it. You'll never know until you try. And, strike up a conversation with family and friends. You never know who is out there just waiting for the perfect opportunity to get in on a game with you as their DM. So go do it. Go play. All right. So until next time, bye for now.